Now I finally come to the lens outer housing, which I'm going to right click and go down to isolate so we can just look at that. On the real thing, we actually have a spiral groove cut into this thing. It's tapped, in other words. So I'd like to add that in here. Let's go ahead and select the front face, go to the sketch tools, create a new sketch, select the outer edge and just click on Convert Entities. What that's going to do is create a circle in our sketch exactly where that edge is in the model. Then we can exit the sketch, and we're left with a sketch with a circle in it right on the edge. Now, to turn that into a spiral, all we have to do is, with it selected, we come up to the Features tab, under Curves, and click on Helix and Spiral. Alternatively, you could go up to the Insert menu, down to Curve, and select Helix from there. Then you would select the sketch, and we can reverse the direction so that it's going the direction we want. And under Pitch, I'll just choose 1 millimeter, let's say. And the number of revolutions, we just need to go around until we feel like we have enough. So I'm just going to say, let's go that many. It's going to be more than enough. Then we can click on the green checkbox because we're done. And we're left with a single curve. Let's locate the end point of the curve, which I think is right about here. And what we can do is click on Reference Geometry Plane. What we're going to do is put a plane on this curve at the end point. And that's going to give us a plane that's perpendicular to the curve at that point. So in the first reference, I chose the curve, and in the second reference, I chose the end point. Click OK, and I'm left with a plane to sketch on. Now I'm going to use Sketch and grab a center rectangle, sketch from the origin here, and just create a little rectangle in here. Exit the sketch. Now we can go under Features, Swept Cut, select this as our profile, and this as our path. It's going to sweep around in a spiral and cut the groove pattern into our focus ring. And we're golden. Exit Isolate, hide the plane, add the minor radius to that front corner, and we're all done. Now let's do an off-axis revolve. So far we've been revolving only around that lens axis we created, but we have another way of doing it. Let's go to the top view, select the front plane from the Feature Manager design tree. I'm going to hold the Control key and click and drag that plane until it's roughly centered on the depth of field indicator. Then I could adjust that value over here in the distance dimension for the Property Manager, but I like it the way it is. We'll just go ahead and click the green checkbox, and we're done. Now we can create a new sketch on that plane simply by clicking on the Line tool in the Sketch palette and rotating our view so that we're looking normal to our new sketch. I'm going to start up here directly above the origin, click, and come down and click at the origin, and then over here and click somewhere outside the lens. I'll then right-click and click on Construction Geometry to change that last line to Construction. And I'm also going to zoom in here, select the first line, and make that Construction Geometry as well. Now we'll use the Smart Dimension tool to put a 45-degree angle between our two lines. And what's going to happen is this angled line is going to become the center for a new revolve. The thing is, everything that we draw is going to have to be perpendicular to that line, which actually isn't that hard. So let's select the Line tool, and somewhere outside of the ring, I'm going to draw a line that runs right along our angled center line, and then another line that is perpendicular to it. And you can see that SOLIDWORKS already is giving me a dotted yellow line to let me snap to perpendicular. And then I can right-click and End Chain. Now I need to create another perpendicular line at the other end point of my solid line. So let's click that, and then come out here and create another perpendicular line. I'll then right-click and make that Construction Geometry. Now we just need to create a tangent arc. So I'll click on the Tangent Arc tool, click at the top, and click at the bottom. Hit the Escape key to drop the tool. Now we just have to add our dimensions. We'll call this height 2 millimeters, and the width will be 3.87 divided by 2. Hit the escape key. Now we can just select any edge on our focus ring, control click on the point at the bottom of our shape and make those coincident. Then we'll have a fully defined sketch right there on the ring. Go to the Features tab, Revolved Boss, and we need to choose a center line axis. This time we'll choose our 45-degree axis line. We'll see now we're rotating right around that. And make sure that Merge Result is not checked. Then click the green checkbox. Now I can right-click that feature, set the body to be a nice yellow color, and move on. We can hide that plane. And now we're going to repeat that process all over again to create another one over here. It's going to look very similar, but slightly different. So take that front plane, control drag to duplicate it so that it's centered where we want our little dot to be. Look at the normal view, sketch tools, line, draw a vertical line down to the origin and then back out again. Make sure both of those are construction geometry. This time we're going to put a 35-degree angle and create our sketch. And this time we don't need the arc. We can just draw a perpendicular line and just do a rectangle right off of that center line. Now we'll just add our dimensions. Make it 1.5 by 0.6. I can actually add a fillet within the sketch if I want to. In this case, I think it'll make sense to do that. So I'm going to set my fillet distance to be 0.25 millimeters, and then select this outer edge. Click the checkbox. Lastly, we'll just position this in space by clicking on the bottom point, control clicking any of the edges of this ring, and clicking on Coincident. With a fully defined sketch, we can now go to the Features, Revolved Boss, select the axis of revolution, make sure that Merge Result is not checked, and click OK. We can right-click it, set the body to be a dark color, hide the plane, and there we have it.